Good evening and welcome to the Eastchester Board of Fire Commissioners April meeting. We already had the Pledge of Allegiance. We're coming out of executive session, so I look for a motion to come out of executive session.
I'll second it.
Okay, so Mr. Rabin, seconded by Mr. Baker. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the time is, guys?
8, 7, 22.
22. Okay. Now, we had one set of board minutes to approve, but I was waiting for Mike Grogan to insert his comments, which he didn't provide us, so I'll hold off till next month to do that.
Sure.
We have a fairly abbreviated agenda tonight. I don't have any real comments to make other than welcoming Chief Tween to our meeting tonight for the first time sitting on the dais with us, and he's hit the ground running and picked up a busy fire the other night, and all good. So I guess we'll start out with a report from Chief Tween.
Thank you, Commissioner. Total alarm activity for the month of March was 249 alarms. I would like to thank the Board of Fire Commissioners for the opportunity to serve as fire chief and look forward to working with the membership and the board. This past Sunday, April 16th, Group 3 responded to a structure fire in a mixed-use multiple dwelling. The ground floor was an auto repair shop, and there were apartments above. Captain Stupple was the tour commander, and the members under his direction were able to evacuate the building and extinguish the fire that started in the kitchen area. One civilian was rescued from a second-floor bedroom window and carried down a ladder by firefighter Michael Mazie. An excellent job was done by all members on scene, and thank you to Eastchester Police Sergeant Richard Natoli and his members for their assistance in the rescue. Thank you also to EVAC and Medic 1, who transported 2 civilians and 2 firefighters to the hospital. EVAC responds to all our 1075 structure fires for standby in case of injuries. We want to thank them. We appreciate it. One fire department lieutenant also drove himself to the hospital after returning to the station, and all EFD members were treated and released from the hospital. The vehicle and firehouse maintenance continues through the use of outside vendors. The fire prevention and code enforcement activities continue, and Captain Pinaval has created a list of multiple dwellings for the members to familiarize themselves with and to note any safety violations on a new form that will be filled out and forwarded to the fire prevention department for follow-up. A staff meeting was held on April 11th with the 5 fire captains to discuss various topics facing the district. I think the meeting was very productive, and a follow-up meeting will be held in 3 months. Keeping busy working on the 6 outstanding PESH items and anticipate being able to comply with their deadlines. And 2 of them, we had requested a 30-day extension, so we'll comply with that new deadline. I'll just mention in the Treasurer's report is the ESS radio maintenance agreement for a UHF radio system, and it's been approved in the past. I would recommend that we approve it also for going forward. I believe it takes effect April 15th. It was post-dated because of the other one expiring.
Okay, so I think this is a new initiative, having the Office of Fire Prevention coordinate with your office to have the members go out and inspect multifamily dwellings. And very good initiative, and it's good for building. It's good thing all around.
Right. It's not quite an inspection. The fire prevention officers are trained and take the codes classes to do the actual inspections, but they have a guide sheet that is a life safety hazard guide sheet. And if they see any life safety hazards, they'll note it in the report. And if it's a life safety, they'll have the owners corrected immediately. But other violations, they'll forward to fire prevention for follow-up to be cleared up.
And it also lets those firemen get more familiar with the buildings they might have to respond to.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, all good. Sounds great. As far as your ESM radio, obviously we transmit on radio, so everything we do is on radio.
Yep.
So it's vital to us. It's how many thousands of dollars is that? Do we know offhand, Jamie?
Yeah, it's $500 and something a month, so it's about $6,000 a year.
Okay, so we don't need a formal board resolution to do that. I think we can just do that. You
Yeah,
can do
just
that
take
in your normal
approval,
course.
that you give me the approval to sign that contract, or, you know.
Okay.
It's,
So-
what it does is if we have a maintenance agreement, we get special 24-hour, 7 days a week treatment for emergency problems, and anything that's non-emergency, we get the normal service. But it does come with a 24/7 emergency clause in the maintenance agreement.
And I remember ESS Radio is on the county's list of approved vendors for the service.
Okay.
So, okay, you don't need a resolution on that, we'll just move that along. Well, congratulations on your first
Thank you very much.
monthly report, and excellent rescue to firefighter Maisie. Thank firefighter Maisie and his team, and that was Group 2?
Group 3.
Group
Captain
3?
Stupple.
Group 3, and thank them for their efforts.
Yeah, maybe, I'm not saying do it, but consider, the awards that we,
We need to do, a couple of years ago, we did the annual, did it at a once every 10-year award ceremony. Probably want to do it less than once every 10 years.
Yes.
So maybe, and I think we coordinated last year with Fire Prevention Month, which was October.
Okay.
We probably want to coordinate it with Fire Prevention Month and do an award ceremony, I think,
Sure.
again.
I've spoken with Captain Stuffle, and he will be making a recommendation.
Okay.
But it'll come from the captain.
yeah.
Okay.
That's on your end, but we
Yep.
just don't want to lose sight of it, because it's
Yep,
something we always intend on doing, and then,
yep. We'll
Oops.
follow up on
All
it.
right.
Yep.
Okay, Treasurer Henstrom, you're up on next.
All right, so I circulated the treasurer's report before the meeting. Through March 31st, our financials are presenting a net budget surplus of approximately $75,000. So, this is flipped since last month. As we've talked about, at this point, we're still relatively new into the year. It's mostly timing differences that you'll see. One thing we discussed at last meeting, now that we are through a quarter of the year, is analyzing those accounts where we know we're under budget for the year, just based on circumstances that we were not aware of at the time we did our budget, which would have been October of last year. So for tonight's meeting, I have two budget transfer recommendations. As of right now, one is related to retroactive salary that has been paid out this year, and the other is related to the dental payment that we make to the union, because as we know, when the contract was settled in December, there was an increase to that amount, which was not budgeted for. I'm recommending taking both of these from the contingency expense rather than, picking through some of the other accounts, because I think we're going to see a lot more activity this year on our P&L. We're going to, ramp up our purchasing efforts. So I think that's the best place to take it from at this point. And then, you'll see certain accounts are trending over budget. However, I think on those, it's a little early at this point to know where we'll end up. So I'll keep monitoring it, and we can, look at budget transfers as they become necessary throughout the rest of the year.
Okay, so I'll make the resolution. The resolution is that we move from line item 1989, spot 2, contingency expenses, to retro salary, line item 3212, spot 1, $108,069, spot 94, also coming out of contingency expenses, going to dental, which is $9,060, spot 32, line item, $15,000, because we increased the union contribution by $15,000. So it adds up to a total of $123,069.94 coming out of contingency over those two line items. Anybody like to make that motion, or I'll make that motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, Winter, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so that's Baker. Okay, and Jamie, we're probably getting pretty close to having an audited financial statement done?
Yeah, we should have our audited financials any day. We did receive our drafts. We've reviewed them and approved them, submitted our management letter. So we're just waiting for the final processing, at which time they'll be available to the public to receive copies, come into the office to see them. We'll submit them with the town and with the comptroller's office as
Okay,
soon as they're received.
so anything else besides we have to pay the bills here, which the folks are reviewing? I've already reviewed them, these guys, and they'll continue to review them, and then we'll do that. Don't let me leave without approving them.
No, nothing else major. One of the areas we have been tracking is the CERT claims. So I just wanted to point out that we are through 70% of our budget based on what we have already paid plus what we've been notified of. So that is one of the areas that we're monitoring as it relates to the budgeted amount. And, you know, I can't believe it's going to be May already, but we're almost in May, and so we anticipate receiving our full amount of tax monies from the town in May.
Right. We have one other item. Looks like we had 4 residents send, or not even residents, 4 people not even in the area.
Civilians.
2 of them, civilians, send in checks totaling $368 in memory of Vincent Badaro, and they made it out to the Eastchester Fire District, so I think we have to accept those. So we thank the folks for sending in the checks, so I guess we should accept that into the fire district budget, right?
Can we?
Yeah, we can, there's no reason why we can't.
I'm not sure we can.
We're not sure we can?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I think it's a nice gesture. Maybe we'll hold them in escrow and maybe talk to council.
Okay,
Yeah, because I don't want to get jammed up and,
all righty, so we'll let those checks sit for, and then you can explain to the controller why we didn't deposit within 5 days, but that's okay.
And what are we,
Blame me.
what are you gonna put them into the regular budget?
yeah, I mean, what would you do with them? That's the,
Well, yeah, the only place we can go with them is the regular budget, unless they get redrafted to a volunteer company.
Why
whether or not.
don't you, let's wait and see how much money we receive. If you're gonna receive a lot, you could put a memorial or a plaque by that.
We don't have a designation for it.
No, I know, but I'm
It's made out
just-
to the fire district, so it's hard to know what to do with it.
But it's parentheses, Vincent Spadaro on there.
it says in memory of, it doesn't say anything.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So we could use that money, make a plaque for him and put it up somewhere in a firehouse, on the back of a firehouse.
Yeah, I mean, there's no, I think we're all trying to do the right thing. It's
Right, we
just
just want to
that,
make sure we don't cross any,
No, I understand that, but I'm just saying, for it to just go in the budget and use as money for the
what
department.
you're saying is if we can accept it, we should use it for a memorial first.
Absolutely.
Okay.
there's no argument there.
Yeah, I don't think there's any, I would concur with that.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll put that until more research. Okay,
The law of
Jamie?
unintended consequences.
yes. Jamie, anything else for us, or we sound like we're good?
Nope, just the bills.
Okay, well, thank you for coming and handling all that. Okay, we have committee reports, career fireman, Commissioner Baker.
I have nothing at this time.
I guess we can report on one item. That is, we had a nice little gathering for Chief Grogan on his way out, and the membership had a good turnout, and it was all well done.
I wasn't there because I was in the Army that weekend, so thanks.
We were there.
You were there for me.
Okay.
And boy, was it spectacular.
Volunteers, Commissioner Laurie?
The only thing I have, May 7th is the memorial service. Mass is at 9 o'clock at the Assumption Church. Following mass services, we'll be going to the monument, and we'll have a ceremony there, which only lasts 15, 20 minutes, and then after that, we're off to breakfast. Chief, I know I mentioned it to you, and as well as all the other commissioners are all invited to attend. I do hope some of the commissioners come. And I think the main thing is we'll be probably dedicating this ceremony to Mr. Spadaro, that he's one of the most recent ones that passed away in the last year. So, and that's, Mass is 9 o'clock, Assembly is around 8:45 and up in the parking lot, the Assumption Church.
I've been to those in the past. They were very nice.
Yep.
I think that I will be away on military duty, but if I'm not, I will be there.
Thank you. As I say, this is a department memorial service.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Laurie. Commissioner Inkerdon, anything on House and Apparatus?
Work continues on Chester Heights. The architect recommended that we do asbestos testing on the roof, just so that if we put it out for bid again and it turns out we do have any asbestos-laden materials in there, we're prepared and have an abatement company lined up. They took probes. We actually got the test results late today. I'm scheduled to talk to the architects and the testing company tomorrow, so I don't really have anything to say until that conversation. But it's still ongoing and making progress, albeit a little bit slower than we hoped.
Okay. Health and Wellness, that's Commissioner Baker and I.
Just
Oh, sorry,
finance.
Budget and Finance.
Nothing to report.
Okay. Health and Wellness? No, we have to get a hold of, Chief, at some point, we have to get a hold of the Health and Wellness Committee and start holding health and wellness meetings on a
Which
quarterly basis.
We're willing
Okay.
to, we just
Yep.
kind of lost track of it with the
Okay,
bring
yep,
you replacement in, you.
okay,
So, the ball's in your court.
okay.
We're ready whenever you are.
Okay, so we'll go move to tonight's business. Tonight's business, we have 2 openings in the fire department for civilian employees. We're looking to hire a maintenance person, someone who is extremely skilled at doing general maintenance, whether it's masonry, painting, cleaning, general, all-around. Used to call him a jack of all trades, or Jackie of all trades, whatever the case may be. We're looking for a maintenance person. You can send your resume to commissioners at Eastchester FD, or if you know somebody who is interested in applying, Eastchester FD, and we'll put out some commissioners at Eastchester FD. We're also going to be looking for a part-time office admin. The part-time office administrator it's a secretary to the Board of Fire Commissioners by title. It's a job, we're looking for somebody with a seasoned skill set in computers. In other words, a current day skill set on Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, PowerPoint, QuickBooks. If they have night shift processing experience, that would be a plus, and that would be a part-time position with no benefits. And so we're looking for that position as well. That position is roughly 17 to 20 hours a week. And that's what we're looking there. And you can send those resumes to, again, commissioners at Eastchester FD. We would prefer someone who has a strong educational background or a strong office background, who has quite a bit of, because there's a lot of different facets of an office you deal with in the fire district office. So we need somebody who is pretty universal. Any other comments on that?
We're going to put out postings that
We'll put it
detail
on
the
the-
qualification, the responsibilities, and those will be posted on our website, or
Yeah.
how are we going to distribute those?
We have to get a hold of the LJ1 for the last position and make sure it matches the LJ1, which is the civil service. The maintenance position is probably sitting on Westchester County's website, and so you go Westchester County local jobs, it's probably sitting on that website, what those job descriptions look like. We're probably going to ask for a little higher educational standard than high school education.
We post those at the firehouses, or?
We'll post it in the firehouses, and we'll post it on the community websites.
That covers everybody who, the websites, and although you can't access that on a website, that probably doesn't bode well for your,
Yeah, if you can.
right,
Right. So, yeah, the trick is to have very current skill set.
right.
So that's for the business and office update. We also have update on some legal matters. The board, everybody here, and a former board member on Saturday, the holiday weekend, got the privilege of being served a lawsuit from a former person that worked here, or a person that was appointed by the fire district. Back in 1981 through 1996, claiming we were denying them benefits of some sort. So I don't want to get more into that, but everybody, the 5 board members here, and the former treasurer, not the former treasurer, excuse me, the former board member have asked for public officers immunity under Section 18 of New York State Public Officers Law, which means the taxpayers are going to defend us, which means the insurance company is going to defend us in the long run. So, because we have insurance for this. Obviously, we think we'll prevail. We're not too concerned about it. And it's just one of the steps you go through. It's one of the, last month, one of the residents came up and was talking about our volunteer service to the board, and I was like, well, you don't get many thank yous being on this board, but you do get served when somebody doesn't like you're not handing out the checks. So that's how things work. So we'll defend that, and we've all asked for the immunity, which is standard procedure, and anybody who's a public officer or a volunteer on a public board should be familiar with Section 18 of New York State Officers Law. Unfortunately, we've had to use this several times, or we've always won and prevailed, so it's just the way it is. That's on litigation matter. We also have a lawsuit. The town sued the fire district over a fire hydrant cost sharing, mostly affecting Bronxville and Tuckahoe residents would have to pay. That litigation we took to the appellate division and asked for a stay because we want the appellate division to toss it out. So the appellate division granted us this temporary stay. We don't know how long that temporary stay will last for, but hopefully that, over time, cool heads will prevail and maybe that lawsuit will go away. We have one other litigation. We have the volunteers were issued a court order to turn over their documents they haven't been turning over for the last year. That court order was issued a month ago, where Judge Blackwood in the State Supreme Court ordered them to turn over their documents. They have not responded to that order to turn over their documents.
That's the Article 78.
That's the Article 78 proceeding you might have read about in the
Scoring
paper.
home.
The judge has ordered them to pay all our legal bills, and we submitted a bill to the court for our legal bills. I think it was done this week. And so now we are going to be filing a show cause order and a contempt of court motion in the next 48 hours, if it hasn't been served already, to get those documents produced. So it's unfortunate, but it's what you have to do. So that's where we are on those three legal matters. And I think that's it for the important legal matters for now. Local 916, I don't see Steve here. Is he back from the mountain?
I don't think he's back yet.
Okay, well, we wish him well. And
You want to step up?
no report.
Let the record reflect, he said no report, and he was here.
Did anybody review the bills?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so we'll just do the bills, and then we'll go to public comment, Mr. DeFelice. So tonight, we have two sets of bills and warrants to be approved. The first set of warrants is dated April 12th. It's $5,637.84. There's a second set of warrants dated tonight, which is April 20th, of $319,621.86. We have credit card bill of $36, which is just the automatic monthly charge for somebody, I'm sure. So we have a total warrants of $325,547.53. I will abstain from the warrants because there's a small warrant in there that I had to go buy all the food for the Mike Rogan party, so I'm getting paid back for $300 or something.
How dare
So
you?
I'll abstain.
Aren't you supposed to be volunteering all that time?
Yeah, I should be volunteering at all. So can I have a motion to pay those?
Make that motion?
Mr. Baker, and a second?
I'll second.
Peter, and I'll call the board. Mr. Laurie?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'll abstain. So that motion carries. And so we'll go to public comments. Mr. Go ahead, Tom. I'll let you go first.
I'm calling on you.
Tom Vishy. For those of you who might be interested, this Saturday, the 22nd, from 9 a.m. to 1, there is a Excellence in Leadership at Pepsi at 700 Anderson Hill Road. It's being sponsored by the Westchester County Volunteer Firemen's Association, South Shore Chiefs Association, and the Mount Pleasant Chiefs Association. It's recommended for line officers, chief officers, battalion chiefs, deputy chief, assistant chief, chiefs, and bureau or division chiefs, heads. That was item one. As you know, Commissioner Laurie mentioned the department's memorial service. The other question I have is, how far along are we with the application for the new member that was submitted last month?
Yeah, well, we have a new chief, and we'll have to see where we're going to go with the volunteers at this point.
And has it been processed? Is it in the bid?
The volunteers have had a court order to deliver documents in the last 30 days, and now you're asking
I'm
about-
not here to discuss that. I'm here to discuss the application that I presented to you.
Okay.
Why is it every time I ask a question, you come back with another question?
Well-
We deserve an answer. That's all. It's either yes or no.
Well, we don't have a decision on it tonight. I haven't actually even
It's
seen it. I
been
don't
a-
think Brian's has seen it. And we haven't discussed what the status of the volunteer is with the new chief. So,
It's, congratulations, Brian. Thank you, Tom. Just so, that sounded bad. A member, a resident of the community gives an application, it's supposed to be processed. You
Yeah.
have existing volunteers,
right.
why not process the application?
Because we have no standard for the volunteers right now that I know of.
You don't have a standard.
Yeah, I don't want to debate this for a half an hour right
We
now,
have a
okay?
standard, it's a simple procedure. The application goes to headquarters, it gets processed through the normal channels that it has to.
Yeah, well,
And
we
then
don't
when
even
it's
know
all
who the
done and filled
volunteers
out,
are.
then it comes
Tommy,
before the board
I
for
don't want to go down
approval.
this road. We don't even know who the volunteers are. We've asked this forever. You've constantly come up and give us these things, and you don't give us any, it's just a waste of our time. We spend a half an hour a month when you come up here asking these questions, when in between meetings, you have our email addresses. You could have called and asked a question. You could have show us, here's our list of volunteers, here's what we do. There's nothing, there's zero. You just come up and use up our time.
And 4 times you said no. 4 times we asked you to sit down with your list, 4 times you said no.
No, I don't get that. Well, it's just.
Commissioner
Tommy,
Baker last June read all the 70 names that he had on his list. I said, don't read them out, some of the members were deceased. Sit down with us. Again, you said no.
Okay.
Go back to the video.
Tommy, you're wasting our time. That's just the way it works every month.
That's, you wanted the Title 78 or Article 78, whatever it was, not us. We asked for you to sit down, you said no. So it's not our fault.
Okay, we'll see what the judge
Now
says.
I'm asking you for the applicant's name, and you're saying you're not processing.
We'll know in the next, I guarantee in the next 48 hours or 7 days, you guys are going to have to do something. There will be a declaration or contempt court motion or something, and I'm pretty sure it's going in your direction. So let's see how it plays out.
That's fine. Last question. In the payment of bills, was the voucher for the refund that I submitted 2 months ago paid for?
I don't know. I reviewed the bills, but I didn't notice it. Did you guys notice it? It was like
It
$40.
wasn't in there, but last meeting, Chief Grogan did say that's automatic to be paid.
Yeah, Jamie, did you see that? Did Mike pass that along?
That was put out by Tom
I
himself.
remember it.
Yeah, I remember the chief had no objection to it,
Yeah.
but the former chief didn't pass it along, probably.
So what you're saying is another document got lost in the wind?
Well, go to Mike Rogan's office, see if you can find it.
We'll look into it.
Yeah,
We'll look into it. Jamie, can you
Yeah.
follow up with Mike on that? Just, yeah.
Yeah. Mr. DeFelice, did you want to approach the mic or anything? Or are you good? Yeah, you can come up. Did you want to speak?
I'm going to call on him after Mr. DeFelice.
Now, in case anybody, Mr. DeFelice will give us a lesson in civics because he is by far the senior civics representative in town. By far, there's nobody with more experience in civics than Mr. DeFelice. But there's not even anybody even close by a couple of
You
years.
forgot to mention 97.
Yep.
Congratulations to you, the chief. Chief Tweed. You had a very good standing behind you, and the reason why you were chosen is because the board felt that you were a capable man to handle the situation. So don't turn them down, make sure that you're up there and do the very, very best for everybody, yourself and for the men, of course. There's a few things that I'd like to mention about the fire department, is that people around the street think that the fire department is just, they're running a fire. They don't realize that the fire department is also here to help the people save themselves. And that should be installed in them. Now, the certificates that are given to the restaurants, is that renewed every year, or is that, once they have it, it's a permanent?
You're talking about the certificates that say how many people they can have
That's
inside the
right.
restaurant? That's a good question that I don't know if it's, I think it's by, I don't know offhand, but I think it's, would you know the answer to that, Chief?
The fire prevention officer calculates the occupancy that's allowed, and I believe as long as they don't change the restaurant, it's not done annually, only if there were changes to the restaurant that would change the footprint, because it has to do with square footage, the occupancy, what they're allowed.
In other words, once the restaurant gets a certificate, it's good until they close up. Is that the idea?
Well, if the restaurant didn't change, say a restaurant was
No.
allowed to have 50
No.
people inside.
Well, I'm thinking of the Piper's Killed. Now, at that time, I don't know if the Piper, when he got their certificate, if they were as popular as it is today, but there are only 2 entrances to that restaurant. And the front door, there are 2 doors there, and in the back, there's a step, and there are steps that you have to get out. God forbid there was a fire in there, forget about it. You have a couple of hundred people, at least 50 people that'll be burned to the crisp. So I think that some thoughts should be given as to re-examine them, or some other means to bring to their attention that this is important, that the people be serviced. Now, the kitchen is right in the middle, and if the hot oil spills over, forget about it. You've got nothing to do with it. Now, I remember when I was a kid, a long time ago, the public school that I went to, we had a good system there we had fire drills twice a year. And the fire drills, the school emptied out, and they went out to the street, and then they were brought back. That gave all of us students an idea of what the fire drills are all about. And I think that it should also be brought out to the attention of the apartment houses, that the superintendent should be instructed how to conduct himself if, God forbid, there's a fire. And I think that each floor in these apartment houses should have a fire captain, that he put the people aware, God forbid there's a fire on that floor, just the best way to get out of it. So that's my thinking of what what has to be, done to perhaps bring these things to the attention of the. Now, I don't know about the schools, if they have to get permission from the schools, that has to be done.
Schools are required to have fire drills within so many days of the school opening every year.
Excuse me?
So the school, within the first, I think, 10 days or something like that of the school year, they're required to have a fire drill. And then they're required to have so many drills a year. So the schools do it very, very exactly and precisely. But I remember going to Catholic school. This was a difference when I was a kid. When I went to Catholic school, as soon as the fire drill went on, you were not allowed to say a word, not a whisper. And you lined up and marched out single file. And then I went to public school, and everybody was chatting all the way out of the building. And it was a completely different environment.
Well, we went right out in the street.
Right.
In the summer, in the early spring, and in the wintertime, gave the children an idea what's what on old school. these are things to be considered. Good, bad, or indifferent, but I thought I would bring that to your attention.
I think having fire drills in apartment buildings is probably an excellent idea, particularly since we have so many buildings in town that have a very large senior population. And it's not mandatory today to have fire districts in commercial, I don't think so, in multifamily buildings, but it's probably a very good idea in places that you have around Bronxville and Tuckahoe and Eastchester to have the building superintendents have an organized fire drill once in a while. It wouldn't be the worst idea in the world.
Chief, is that something we would be involved in at all, or?
I don't believe it would be required. NFPA and New York State OFPC encourage people to have exit plans, and they have a program called EDITH, Exit Drills in the Home. They encourage even homeowners to practice fire drills, but they don't require the homeowners to do it. It's just a smart idea to practice getting out. So, you know, at this time, I'll check with Fire Prevention Officer Captain Pinneval, but I don't think it's required in multiple dwellings.
Yeah, but we have, in each community, you have a very, oh, go ahead.
I would say, as the president of a cooperative in the town of the village of Bronxville, we, on an annual basis, send out information on what to do in case of a fire. But I don't think that our building would necessarily want to conduct a drill. We have a lot of elderly residents for whom it's going to be difficult, especially if we're going to encourage them to use staircases and not elevators.
right,
So
right.
I don't view that
That's
as realistic.
I hadn't thought of that. That's very practical. You're right. Staircases would be a problem.
Was that something fire prevention might be involved in, though, for like?
Yeah.
Not actually running a drill, but providing the EDITH stuff or anything?
Sure, yeah, we have lots of pamphlets and stuff we can give out to the buildings if they contact the
Chief,
Fire Prevention Department.
Chief, did you have a fire in the back of the firehouse? You know, marshmallows and everything else?
I'm sorry, could you please repeat the
I said,
question?
did you have a bonfire in the back of your house with marshmallows and everything else? Isn't that a way that you got rid of all those books and papers in the chief's office?
No comment.
And did you get a new telephone in your office? Because many a times that I call the chief, get the voice, yeah, I'll be there. God bless you. Maybe a month later, I go, oh, I was busy. I was busy. And everything else. Now, on another note, I'm very, very disappointed that when the chief was sworn in, that the supervisor Colavito wasn't here to.
Well, we haven't had a formal recognition of swearing in the new chief, which we plan to
Okay.
do, and which we will invite people to.
Okay, all right. And the same thing with photographers. They should be here and they should be blasted in the papers. You right? I mean, you have to give publicity and you have to give yourself some exposure. Okay, thank you very much for listening to me.
Well, thank you for coming, Mr. DeFelice. We really appreciate your kind words and the time you dedicate to this stuff. It's quite impressive, and
Thank you.
Mr. Tyrell, do you want to speak? What do you mean shaking your head no? You came to the meeting. We have a Boy Scout, for those of you who can't see at home, we have a Boy Scout from Troop 2 Bronxville who's here trying to complete his citizenship in the community merit badge, correct? Yeah. So he approached me at a meeting about one of our troop meetings, and wanted to know if he could come to a fire board meeting, and I said, sure. So he's in the back. You want to say anything, or no? Okay. You sure? Yeah. I'm going to quit. Are you going away to camping this weekend? Are you going camping this weekend with us? So you're going to escape, because I was going to quiz you. All right.
well, thank you for coming. I hope you enjoyed it. Any board member comments?
I just want to tell that young fella, I'll be out right away, Peter. There's a Boy Scout that came to our VFW meeting last night. He's going to be an Eagle Scout, and him and a few other fellas, they're going to recondition the World War I monument in Tuckahoe. They're going to clean it up and put new shrubberies around it. They're going to paint the monument, clean the brass on there and all. So I don't know if you're interested in helping them, but they're going to be start doing it, I think, next week, and it's going to be completed for Memorial Day. I think it is, I'm not certain, but he's working with Mayor Eklund's son on it. Yeah, that's it. Okay, that's him.
That's at the train station?
No, it's at the bottom of Winter Hill and Cronin's Hill, the World War I monument, right near the car wash.
Okay.
Okay, Peter?
Any other board member comments? All righty, motion to close the meeting?
So be it.
And a second? Second. DeBaker, all in favor?
Aye.
Good night. Aye, and good night. Thank you for coming.
Let's go Rangers.